Twins lose for the fourth time in 5 games, and it was ugly. Simeon Woods Richardson didn't have it. The Twins defense didn't want it. Jonah Bride can get it, in the bullpen anyway. Twins Twitter got testy during and after this one. The ball club is still 35-31, but it doesn't feel like it. You know what it does feel like? It feels like it's time to get Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Locked On Twins, your daily go-to source for the top Minnesota Twins insight, discourse, and analysis. Personally, it's my favorite show, the Imperial Locked On Podcast Network, which, by the way, brings you your team every day. It's your team. You're the one who needs to sell it. It's you. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe where applicable. I'm Dave Brown, an MLB writer who gets ugly and sloppy with the worst of them. I'm also a BBWA member and a Hall of Fame voter. Across the Great Plains of cyberspace is Brandon Warne, who gets neat and tidy every Friday morning at his local barbershop. Brandon was a Twins fan, who became a Twins writer, and now he's both. Maybe someday you can find more of our work at Access Twins and Zone Coverage. I'm motivating myself right now. On the show today, anyone else down on the farm not like you? No wonder I couldn't say that. SWR comes to the rescue and pours gasoline on the fire. Maybe that's the move, burning it to the ground. It sure seems like that's what Twins Twitter is ready to do. In their defense, so to speak, it probably was the ugliest loss of the season, with the Twins not really interested in pitching, hitting, or defending well. One exception, Jonah Bride's scoreless inning. He's proving himself to be a better option than actual relief pitchers in the Twins bullpen. Are the Twins interested in improving the ball club from the outside? Oh, probably. But is there any reason to suspect that they'll actually do that after 2 quiet trade deadlines in a row? And with the team's sale still impending for the past 8 months or so. So, Brandon, there's no ad read, right?
No. Although somebody did say to me that they should trade for Gregory Soto, which isn't an ad read, but again, like Gregory Soto is a perfectly crumulent, decent reliever who would help everybody else.
I thought you said crummy.
No, who would help any team, but he just doesn't. I don't think he really gives the Twins anything they need. And why would Baltimore trade him right now? They're trying to get back into it. I think just based on, you said, will they look to the outside? Takes 2 to tango right now. And I'm not sure that any team right now has anything that the Twins would want that they're willing to trade. Are the White Sox going to trade Jordan Leisure? I'm just throwing out a name. I'm not even saying it's a guy they would want or even be available or is any good. No disrespect to Mr. Leisure. But teams just aren't really moving guys right now. Maybe the Rockies, you could get like Jake Bird, but
hey, Bird. That was my Snuffleupagus. Yeah, I don't know if you want Jordan Leisure or not, but left-handed guy, Gregory Soto. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think here's really the optimal thing there. Danny Coulombe's elbow is healthy, and Connor Prelip comes up late.
And now he's on the IL.
Connor Prelip comes up next year.
No, maybe this is a blister, I think. So it's not like he's far away. But keep in mind, too, like, you always talk about timing. When Michael Tonkin was making his way back downtown, walking fast, that commercial plays during Twins TV, and I always hear it. Oh. Anyway, when he was on his way back the first time before he got pulled off his rehab, it didn't really look like there was a spot for him. Now, right. Do you option Justin Topa, which I saw a bunch of people say, and honestly, I think he's been fine. I have no issues with Justin Topa. I don't know why people.
I don't know that I have no issues with Justin Topa, but he's given up. He had one bad game, and it was yesterday when everybody had a bad game.
And then he gave up a run in the outing before that. Otherwise, he's been great.
Yeah, he had 5 scoreless outings before that. And But let's get real. Like, no matter what my opinion of Justin Topa is, or no matter what Twins person's opinion of Justin Topa is, they're not going to do that. He's like, there's like 3 other guys in the bullpen that you get rid of first. You know, I mean, you'd get rid of Alcala, or you'd get rid of, I don't know, whoever they keep bringing up for the minors. No, you're not getting rid of Justin Topa.
I think the play is, listen, Jorge Alcala, we love you. We want to keep you in the organization. And if you want to be DFA'd, outrighted, whatever, that's fine. We would love to keep you. We would love to option you and work through some things at St. Paul. we're going to bring up Tonkin when he's healthy. Or if you decide to, if you take Alcala off the 40, then it's, McCocken, Lovelady, any number of different guys to at least give you another.
Do not say those two last names next to each other.
McCocken, Lovelady. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, there's options. And if Tonkin is close, they're not going to do the whole one outing Coulomb situation. But he's pitched once. I think he looked okay. He had some traffic on the bases, but got through the outing unscathed. That's probably your next reinforcement. And I think the whole Soto thing is asking the wrong question, because it's not really the bullpen that needs help right now. The bullpen by itself is okay. They need the rotation to help the bullpen. And everybody being so mad that they went to Alcala and they went to Topa, which who else is going to pitch? Like, all these logical fallacies just driving me crazy. And then you have to keep in mind too, with Slim Festa going today, you might need that depth today. And that's why, to me, it would have made sense to figure out what to do with Alcala, bring back Adams if you IL Alcala. Otherwise you can't. But he pitched 4 innings last night. So that complicates things a little bit. But they need length. If Festa goes 4 innings tonight, you could piece it together an inning by an inning by an inning for tonight, and then hope for the best in the finale. But at some point, they're going to have to do something to give themselves some length, whether it's flush one of the starters and bring up a guy. I don't even know. Is Randy Dobnak in play? For all we know, I don't know.
Have you seen Randy Dobnak's ERA at St. Paul? It's almost 6, I believe.
So it's 6. It's almost 612, like the area code.
Right, and 6 and 1, half a dozen of the other. So, I mean, where to start? I mean, it's kind of the Twins are sort of a little bit of a mess for a team that's 4 or 5 games over 500. SWR had a couple of really bad starts down in AAA. He's sort of still on that road. But in the bigger picture, this is Matthew Taylor of Twins Daily writes, his first 88 innings in his career, 3.27 ERA, and 8 home runs allowed. In his last, most recent 88 innings, 5.83 ERA. That's between 2 and 3 more runs per 9 innings, and 16 home runs allowed. So we can see that whatever adjustment the league has made to SWR, he needs to adjust back. And I mean, they sent him down to the minors for a reason. This sort of echoes a little bit last year's Edouard Julien situation, where they sent him down to the minors to get a reset, to figure things out again. And then there were a bunch of injuries, and then they brought him up anyway. And it obviously was not the right thing to do, because he wasn't fixed if he was ever going to get fixed. Although Edouard Julien just did have a 4-hit game the other day. But SWR needs something that I don't know if the Twins can. Pete Mackey just deal with him right now. Is there an assistant pitching coach? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and above all, like, I know I said last night, like, maybe he needs a look in the bullpen. He's young enough that, like, plenty of guys, good starters, start out sucking as a starter. And he didn't suck. He was pretty decent last year. Like, he was a perfectly acceptable number 5 starter who's struggling. The path to development is far from linear, and there have been countless guys who were legitimately good pitchers who were ass to start their career. And one of them is Greg Maddux. Now, yeah, everyone's going to hear that and be like, oh, you're comparing him to Greg Maddux. No, but it's not uncommon. Jose Barrios had like an 8 ERA through his first 10 starts or whatever it was. Roy Halladay didn't they send him all the way back to A-ball and have him kind of build himself? And then suddenly he was
that's 2 Hall of Famers you've now compared. That's the sure. But yeah, I get your point. Yes, I'll
own it. But it's kind of an it's not a chicken and egg. It's not a square is a rectangle is a square. It's more, not every guy who struggles will be great, but some great guys did struggle. So it does not disqualify you from being better. And Simeon Woods Richardson is younger than people realize. So I'm not trying to say it's put up or shut up time or move him to the bullpen and just let him be the best version of himself. But he's not where he needs to be right now. And yeah, I mean, do you call up the Rockies and ask if Kyle Freeland's available? I don't know. I honestly, I would love to see him trade for Ryan Feltner. I've been on that. I'm on him like I was John Gray about 5 years ago, and not probably closer to 6. But again, what are you giving up? Who's actually making a trade right now? Is this even realistic? I don't know. I don't know any of the answers.
All right. I know the answer to one thing, and that is we are going to take a break right now. Is that a question even? I don't know. But yeah, we're going to take a break right now. That's what we're going to do. It's on to you now, Ben.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. That's Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order your products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll get exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service from the best folks in the game, and you'll always get to talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and it's your turn next. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, get this. Use promo code SH5. That's Seth Halverson 5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Locked On Twins has returned. Second segment time. I was looking at, we're asking ourselves, well, where can the Twins get help from? Can they go anywhere outside the organization? Well, not until everybody starts trading, and even then, there are limitations. But I look at what's going on in AAA, and it's not great because the staff ERA of the St. Paul Saints is 5.24. Ed Morris, who we has been shooting up the prospect hope rankings, 3.86 ERA, 70 hits allowed in 53 and 2/3 innings, 16 walks. I mean, even that's not great. 45 strikeouts. 1.6 whip, if you want to save yourself from the math.
I think
so that's not great.
When I think of a pitcher's whip, and tell me if this is crazy, I think it's like a pitcher blood pressure. Like, it may not mean things are bad now, but it could be the harbinger of doom to come because you're polluting the bases with base runners. The short way of putting it is this is 1.6 base runners per inning. I mean, excluding the Ty France getting hit by a pitch situation. Not enough strikeouts, not too many walks. But one thing I also like to do is look at opponent slash line against. You're not going to love this. 326, 374, 493. Right-handed hitters, 351, 390, 550. So it's like someone roided up Luis Ariz and said, go to town, kid.
Yeah. I'm not sure, where you turn there. Because the guys who are doing well at St. Paul have been up already. They're up now and possibly are hurt, some of them. Zebby Matthews, for one. Festus here now. David 587 ERA. Marco Ryan, 1046 ERA.
Even Darren M. I'm not going to say his name because of how you snicker about it. 8.8 strikeouts per 9, but 3.8 walks and almost 2 homers per 9 innings. Anthony Masevich is pitching well, but giving up a pile of home runs. They're allowing 1.2 homers per 9, and it's like every guy. Alex Spees not giving up homers. His ERA is one of those seedy hotline 1.900 or 1.937 in this case. Marco Raya pitching, I believe, as we speak, 10.46 ERA. Anthony Prado, 37. Wait, that's a position player. I'm kidding. But like other than Lovelady, who's walking too many guys, but has been pretty good, they have like not a lot of options here. Ryan Jensen, and I could be talking about guys who've been cut that I'm just forgetting about. It's been hideous down there. It's not looking good.
If they need a relief pitcher, if for some reason they were to make a move with Alcala, they bring back Travis Adams and give him a shot. He's been doing well.
But he's just pitched 4 innings. That's the problem. He's down for the next few days. So it's
I'm speaking long term, but
sure,
yeah, absolutely.
You might need to do a waiver claim. Scott Blewett might be out there again in a couple days. He's been blowing in the wind the last bit here. Jorge Lopez, I think I saw someone say just got DFA'd. I don't know if you want to bring him back, but
I don't know if Jonah Bride was throwing curveballs and knuckleballs last night. He got 2 swings and misses. I don't really think Jonah Bride is actually the answer to anything other than it's kind of funny to have him around. That's nice.
He's more viable than Joey Gallo right now pitching.
They don't. Yeah. How is no? Don't ask that. Don't answer that. I don't care about Joey Gallo, but
I don't think he's gonna catch on.
Yeah, it's early. Yeah, I guess. But he did get 1 more swing and miss than Alcala yesterday, which it might be the most frightening thing about Alcala's issues. He's got just his command. It leaves him at any moment. I was fooled completely by his good outing. Was that in Oakland? Was that in West Sacramento? Maybe that's why I was fooled, because it was just the A's. But Aaron Gleeman reports, please credit, that Jorge Alcala has a 7.77 ERA in 41 appearances since August 1st. So that's quite a sample size. Like no matter what, when you say, oh, they got to do something with Alcala.
It's not hasty.
No, you're not being, oh, we got to cut Justin Topa. It's not the same kind of thing. It's Alcala's got to, they have to have that conversation that you suggest.
It's easy for me. And again, it's easy for me to say it, but if you look yourself in the mirror and you're Jorge Alcala, do you want to hit the market and maybe nobody's interested? Somebody will be interested based on the velocity and the profile. But sometimes it's better to dance with the devil, And I'm not trying to say the Twins are the devil, but they've been vested in his development since 2018. Now, if you want to hear a different voice, there are pitching whisperers out there. I don't know who the modern day Ray Searage or Don Cooper or whoever is. You may know better than me. Is there a pitching coach? Like there were some guys going to San Francisco for a while. Kevin Gausman turned his career around out there, and a few other guys have done that. So I don't know who that would be, but you'd have to make sure that team is interested. And of course, if it's a minor league deal, no, nothing wagered, nothing lost. But if that's the case, why wouldn't you just keep your 40-man spot in Minnesota? Say, listen, I can ride the train, I can ride the bus, I can ride the whatever, the shuttle to St. Paul for a little while and get it right. Because if he doesn't get it right, he'll be a free agent all the same later in the season. I don't know that changes the marketplace for him if outside of, I guess, if he struggles at St. Paul. But I don't know. When I'm laying down all the logic in my brain, which is a scary thought, they should option him or try to and see if he'll go, because I don't see why he shouldn't / wouldn't. Again, easy for me to say. It's not my career.
That said, we've also sort of hinted at why maybe they're comfortable with hanging on to Alcala a little bit longer. And it's kind of related to the same thing. Like, they're not going to cut Justin Topa. The bullpen is not really the problem. It's the starting rotation.
Protecting the bullpen is the issue.
True. So that's why I think, and people aren't going to want to hear this, but given how the Twins are still in pretty good shape as far as competing for a playoff spot, and we're at the point of the season that we are, I think it's possible that we might see a few games where they punt and just to protect the bullpen and to, keep the extra use off certain guys.
Look at the Dodgers last night. Kike pitched.
You made a great point about the issues that the Dodgers have with their pitching staff, some of which they've created on their own. The Dodgers love, so for as much money as the Dodgers spend on everything, on every aspect of the organization, they have been going to the well 5 or 6 too many times with these pitchers that have injury histories, and most of them it's come back to bite them.
The most
And
Dodgers
it's really
pitcher
biting them right now.
I apologize. The most Dodgers pitcher you can imagine right now is Tyler Glasnow. Maybe the best raw stuff you can imagine, but just never healthy. It's like that. And now build a house out of all Tyler Glasnows. It's literally living in a glass house. And then Kike has to throw the stones because nobody else can.
Kike, 6th inning. You might have said it, but let's emphasize that.
2 1/3 innings
in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, maybe the Dodgers have sort of shown the Twins the way. Maybe Jonah Bride is on this roster to pitch 4 innings of relief. I mean, if he's going to throw a knuckleball, if he's going to get twice as many swings and misses as Alcala, maybe that's the thing they need to do. And I'm only somewhat kidding.
Nick Gordon, bring him back as a pitcher. He just got cut not that long ago from was it Baltimore, I think. He's out there.
You asked about pitching. You asked about pitching whisperers. The Yankees have one. I think Matt Blake is their pitching coach, and he's they get a lot of mileage out of guys that maybe you've never heard of.
Ian Hamilton was one. He was a former Twin. Great trade, Falvey.
That didn't last forever, but I could see Jorge Alcala going to New York, and Matt Blake being, "Oh no, you should try this," and then getting the Yankees of all people getting more mileage out of him.
40 innings of just absolute kick-ass relief before he blows out.
All right, well, let's not think about that. But what we should think about is our second commercial break, because it's going to happen right now. Ooh, that was a good one. Locked On Twins returns for our final segment, Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. We are recording in the hours before the Twins' second game against the Texas Rangers. Of course, the Rangers come in yesterday. Honestly, I was at Suns baseball yesterday, so I did not. I was following along electronically, but I didn't really have a good look. I know the Rangers came in with, I don't know if they had the worst offense in the league, but something like that. Lots of trouble scoring runs. No trouble against our Twins, though.
27 batted balls of 100 miles per hour or harder in last night's game combined. MLB high, fun fact, for this season. And I want to say something like 17 of them were the Rangers. Like it pretty drastically favored the Rangers, and they picked up a number of those against Jorge Alcala. I love when people say a number of, like, yeah, of course there's a number of, but they did not just batter SWR. They smoked just about everybody. And it was a rough night at the ball yard. And I think that's the tough thing is fans don't pay enough attention to the big picture. And by the big picture, I mean, not only the length of the regular season, but what's going on around the league. Everybody loses 16-4 or 11-1. I mean, it happens. Some nights are absolute dog water, and it just happens. Like now, who knows? Maybe Festa goes 7 innings and they win 4-2, and you go Festa, Jax, Duran, Festa, Varland, Jax, Duran, and it's just like you wrote it up. Or maybe Festa doesn't get out of the second inning, and then they got a real crisis on their hands figuring out how to piece it together. Because again, they have too many good relievers who don't pitch a lot of innings, and you don't want to waste those innings in that spot. And also, too, I saw people say, well, why use Danny Coulomb in this spot? That was the perfect spot to use Danny Coulomb. No pressure. You needed 1 out. You were facing a lefty, and he had only had 1 rehab appearance. That was the epitome of a rehab appearance in the big leagues. Parachute landing, and what did he throw? 2 pitches, got a pop out. You couldn't have scripted it any better for Coulomb to get his feet wet. And again, he's a veteran. He's been around. It's not like you need to handhold. But of all the times you were going to use him, people were like, well, just put a position player in there. Yeah, okay. But then you got to bring Danny Coulomb into hot water in the 7th inning for his first appearance. That's not great. I mean, again, it's the major leagues, so sometimes guys get put into tough spots. It's not going to just be fair. I thought, at least of all the things that went wrong, using Coulomb that way made a lot of sense to me.
Maybe you can shed a little of light on this part of the game. There are two things that make, well, there's lots of things, but when you don't hit, it looks like you don't care, a team.
Mm-hmm.
When you play bad defense, it looks like you really don't care. The Twins had some errors and some miscues last night defensively.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular troubling about them? I mean, Byron Buxton, I saw a stat Phil maybe had that he hadn't had like a fielding error in 5 years or something like that. It's his errors.
2019 against Tampa Bay off the bat of Willy Adames. He's got 13 errors in his career, and I think 8 of them were fielding and 5 of them were throwing.
What was the Royce error that you were complaining about?
Okay, so Adolis Garcia rolled a grounder behind third, and Royce came up throwing, and it looked like he threw about a 68-mile-an-hour two-hopper that took France off the base. And it was just like, the hell was that? Sorry to anybody listening in the car with kids, but
that's like
it was literally,
you said.
Yeah, it was literally bewildering.
What was the style of the throw? Was it? He's been going over the top like Correa. Was it like that? Or was it?
Yeah, I think it was. I'm trying to recall, because like,
is he just off balance, and that's
he is like, he didn't collect himself enough. And don't get me wrong, Adolis Garcia's fast, but it was pretty crisply hit. He had more time than he thought, and then the throw was just, it almost was like you would have thought maybe he lost grip on it, but then he had a throw an inning or two later that was a rocket. I mean, you could have hung laundry on it. So I don't know if it was maybe the ball slipped, maybe it was maybe he tried to do a Correa bounce throw. I honestly don't know. And when you get your butt kicked like they did, a lot of the post-game questions are not going to go granular. Like, what were you doing in the second inning when you bounced through this play? It gets thrown out with the bathwater. And that didn't lead to a run. The Twins, SWR pitched out of it. I think he struck out Higashioka looking or something after that. And then the Buxton one was a weird play where I think Justin Morneau kind of surmised that it knuckled on him a little bit. And then it like hit him like kind of on the wrist. And then he did like a funny, like, and I mean funny, not pirouette / whatever fall and like hit the ground. And I was terrified it was going to be one of those Buck stays in and then gets pinch hit for an inning later, like the concussion was. He stayed in the game, and then suddenly you see Deshaun Kiersey Jr. coming in to hit for him, and it's like all of your nightmares realized. But yeah, in general, it was not a good game. It was a dog bleep game, and if they put it all into one, not really hitting, although they hit some balls hard. Malley was not particularly good. They didn't field well, and they definitely didn't pitch well. I mean, you may as well condense all your woes into one game if we're talking about how convenient it is to do those things. So, come back to the yard. You still got a chance to take the series if you win the next two, and it's not as though Texas is impossible to beat. Again, their offense has been really bad, and you don't want to be, like Tim Laudner said, and actually I said in a story I wrote beforehand, the one who wakes the giant, because Adolis Garcia is a much better player than he's shown. Simeon has hit like 500 over the last 8 games. They've got some guys who are going to wake up. You just don't want to be there to serve them breakfast.
Tyler Malley getting out of town with a win I can handle. It's the Anthony DeSclafani game that no doubt is coming. That's the one I don't want to endure on Twitter or have.
Or Homer Bailey.
System. Homer
Rich
Bailey
Hill.
Can't be pitching anymore.
Rich Hill. How about Rich Hill? Homer Bailey and Rich Hill signed on the same day. It was like New Year's Eve 2020.
We've got 4 days until Rich Hill gets to exercise his opt-out if he wants it.
Yeah.
And so here's what yesterday Noah Cameron got lit up by the Yankees. Here's what Twins need in the next week. They need the Royals to pitch well. So they feel like, we don't need Rich Hill. We're going to let him go. And then you pounce on Rich Hill. And I mean, he is 45 years old. It probably doesn't go well for very long, if it goes well at all. But that could be your guy. Just wait for Rich Hill to sneak through the Royals system, and then maybe he's the guy.
The only real issue he's had is home runs, and in 11 innings he's allowed 2, like that, whatever. He allowed a couple against the rookie league kids. And again, whatever, but he's getting a few strikeouts. He's not walking anybody. His whip is .84 over his 19 innings. You could do worse. This is better than Dallas Keuchel, probably in the area of Bartolo Colon a few years ago.
I don't really remember the Bartolo Colon move. I remember Dallas Keuchel, and that really didn't.
Colon was fine. He had a couple pretty decent outings, throwing just absolute slop, 84-mile-an-hour fastballs, and everybody just had a great time. Both of his families loved it.
Speaking of absolute slop and having a great time, we want to thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts like this one. So for Brandon Warne, this is Dave Brown, wishing you all a very pleasant good evening, saying we will Alexei Casilla, and no, don't bring him back tomorrow night.